Mark's Gospel, there's nothing about Mary, Joseph, shepherds. If we just had Mark's Gospel, well, it'd be a little different around Christmas time, I guess. It has no birth narrative. Mark just says the story of Jesus the Messiah. But clearly, 10, 20, 30 years after Mark's Gospel was written, these other Gospel writers came along, and they were with their communities thinking, what was this? This guy is so great. What was he like when he was little? What was going on in his life that pointed toward the kind of person he became? Kind of like you might do, like say with somebody like Nelson Mandela. You think, wow, here's this great guy. What was showed that he was going to be this great person? So these writers picked up on some of the narratives that had probably just been circulating around. Matthew emphasizing the wise men. Luke gives us a couple of pages of Elizabeth, her husband Zechariah, John, who becomes John the Baptist, and then Mary's story. And he includes her visit to Elizabeth and her song. And then John, of course, in his waxes mystical. In the beginning was the Word. But you get these different perspectives in the different Gospels. And Mary, the BBM as we call her for short, from this passage has often been given to us as kind of a caricature of women's submission, hasn't she? She's always looking down, wearing pale blue. She looks pensive, bordering on despondent. And she's become symbolic with the woman who says, yes, sir, whatever you say, sir. The perfect woman. That's not someone we really admire today, or someone we want to teach our kids to emulate. I can't imagine that we want to teach Thea and Lee to be the kind of girls who just say, yes, sir, whatever you say, sir. But if we really look at this passage, there's quite a lot to admire and emulate. And I've got to say, first of all, that there's very little that we actually know about Mary. Legends grew up, and these were later, medieval legends grew up about her having a mother named Anna, father named Joachim, and that's because in Catholicism at one point, her being conceived without sin, sex, was really, really important. That was a time when Plato had more influence on the church than the Old Testament did. In this passage, though, what we see is Mary, who's a young woman. She is surprised by a visit from an angel, which I guess most of us would be. We've been given the impression she just says, yes, sir, but she doesn't. She thinks about it. She asks a good question, how can this be? She waits to hear the angel tell her that she will have support. That's one of my favorite parts of Scripture, where you have this huge announcement from Gabriel saying, the Most High will come upon you, and this will be called the Son of God. By the way, have you heard? Elizabeth is pregnant. But I think there was this knowledge, somehow, that Mary was not expected to do this on her own. And so she says, yes, she says, be it unto me. Be it unto me. Mary here is saying yes to the joys and heartbreaks of parenthood, of which many of us can attest there are many. You don't need to be a parent, though, to say yes and to experience joys and heartbreaks of opening yourself to others. You do that when we say yes to marriage, yes to friendship, yes to involvement in a community. Be it unto me is the expression of something like, I'm willing to be cracked open by love. I'm willing to be cracked open by love. And of course, Mary had no idea what she was saying yes to when she said, be it unto me. None of us do. Maybe that's why we're afraid to say it. We're told Mary went with haste to visit her pregnant cousin. Support group. Community. She wasn't asked to do this alone, and neither are we. And then Luke gives us her song that we used in the canticle today. It's called the Magnificat, usually. And it's a wonderful song. And it basically steps back to get the big picture of the purpose of God. We also see in the fact that this song is included as Mary's song in the Gospel, that the earliest church felt that this is the kind of thing, this was part of Mary's message, part of the message of the greater church. This is what we're meant to be. And she sings, my soul sings out to God. My heart overflows. She goes on, and I paraphrase, God has done great things for me. The Mighty One has chosen to collaborate with me. Wow. Always God is present, faithful, loving to those who hold on to him. Strong. God has pulled chairs out from under those who think they've arrived. Potters, the plotters who think they're in control, God has sent them packing and invited those who are wounded and sad to sit in the best seats. He's called those from the back row to move forward. Fat cats sent empty away, while those who've suffered hunger have a banquet set for them. We have seen who is really in charge. God keeps promises. Did you know that the Magnificat has regularly been banned down the years? Can you imagine why it has been banned? So, like for example, in Chile, when people were trying to protest against an oppressive government, some of these people would put up copies of the Magnificat in the squares, big posters, and they would be ripped down. They were banned. Because if you look at what it says, it's really pretty revolutionary. I want to just read you something that Dietrich Bonhoeffer wrote about the Magnificat. This is in 1933. He says, the Song of Mary is the most passionate, most vehement, one might almost say most revolutionary Advent hymn ever sung. It's not the gentle, sweet, dreamy Mary that we so often see portrayed in pictures. Or it's passionate, powerful, proud, enthusiastic Mary who speaks here. She sings an uncompromising song of bringing down rulers from their thrones, humbling the lords of this world with God's power and the powerlessness of men. These are the tones of the prophetic women of the Old Testament. Deborah, Judith, Miriam, coming alive in the mouth of Mary. So this really big picture was seen as threatening. What does this say to us? I believe it tells us that we need to be open to being part of that really big picture, that revolutionary picture of how what really matters in this world. I think it also invites us to be open to God collaborating with us, even though we know that that can bring real trial and real pain. I think we're challenged to be able to say, be it unto me. I will be open to the joy and heartbreak of love. I'm willing to be cracked open